Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a journey, metaphorically speaking, to Tanzania. It's this incredible East African country, right on the Indian Ocean.
Absolutely stunning.
Exactly. It seems like a paradise for, nature lovers, wildlife fans, culture seekers.
It really ticks all those boxes.
We got some great material here, and it covers, everything from Mount Kilimanjaro snow-capped, unbelievably,
Highest peak.
to the Serengeti plains, the Zanzibar's beaches. Just so much.
Rich traditions, too. Can't forget those.
Definitely. So, our mission today, our deep dive, is really to pull out the most important, most fascinating bits about visiting Tanzania.
Right. Kind of give a clear picture for anyone thinking about going.
Exactly. An enticing overview, highlight the key spots, maybe some practical things too.
Because the range of experiences is just huge. Safaris, trekking, beach time.
It covers a lot of ground.
It really does. And you see why it keeps showing up on those top destination lists.
So, why Tanzania? What's the big picture appeal?
Well, like you said, it's a land of superlatives, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Africa's tallest mountain, Kili. Huge wildlife numbers. Maybe some of the biggest concentrations on the planet.
Wow.
And those islands. Just gorgeous. It consistently ranks high for travelers worldwide.
And our material, it really backs that up. It's not just, say, a safari destination.
No, not at all. I mean, the wildlife safaris are world famous, obviously. Those national parks.
Right. Serengeti and Ngorongoro. We'll get into those.
But then you have the coast, pristine beaches, coastal retreats, a completely different vibe.
A real contrast.
And alongside the nature, there's this strong sense of cultural diversity. The source mentions warm hospitality a lot.
That's always a huge plus for any trip. Makes such a difference.
Definitely. And then you've got adventure activities, mountain treks.
Like Kili.
Exactly. Plus World Heritage sites, history. It's got layers.
Okay, so let's dive into some of those must-sees. The big names. Where should we start? Serengeti.
Serengeti feels like the natural starting point, doesn't it? The classic African safari image.
It really does. The name itself just conjures up like endless grasslands, acacia trees.
And the source talks a lot about the great wildebeest migration.
That must be just incredible to actually see.
It's an unbelievable spectacle. Millions of animals on the move.
And even outside the migration, just the sheer amount of wildlife, lions, elephants, giraffes.
Cheetahs, leopards, all the iconic species. It's like stepping into a documentary, like you said.
So what makes the Serengeti experience so special, according to the source?
It's the scale, I think. The scale of the ecosystem and how much wildlife it supports all year round. It's not just seasonal.
Right.
And it's relatively undisturbed, ecologically speaking. That's why it's earned its reputation.
Makes sense.
And there's a useful practical tip in the material, too.
Oh, yeah.
About booking. It suggests looking at flight and hotel packages from Arusha or Dar es Salaam.
Oh, okay.
Which could make a Serengeti trip, maybe a bit more accessible financially than people might think.
That's really good to know. Balancing the dream with the practicalities. Okay, so from the plains, let's go up, way up, Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, quite the contrast. Almost 5,900 meters. Africa's highest point.
Just incredible. And people climb it, like regular hikers.
Well, it's a serious trek, definitely. But it attracts both experienced mountaineers and first-time high-altitude hikers.
Wow.
People are drawn by the challenge, the achievement standing on the roof of Africa.
I can imagine. The views must be
spectacular, apparently. The source emphasizes that sense of accomplishment alongside the views. It's tough, but rewarding.
And any tips for someone actually thinking about tackling it?
Yes, the material suggests booking accommodation near Moshi town.
Okay, Moshi.
Yeah, it makes sense. Sort of a base camp before and after the climb. Get settled, acclimatize maybe a little.
Good advice. Okay, down from the mountain, but still pretty spectacular. The Ngorongoro crater.
Ah, yes, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it's unique. It's a massive volcanic caldera.
So like a collapsed volcano?
Essentially, yes. A huge natural bowl. And what's amazing is the density of wildlife inside it.
Really concentrated.
Extraordinarily concentrated
Yeah.
in a relatively small area, including the black rhino, which is critically endangered.
Wow. So it's like its own little world in there.
Almost exactly. A natural sanctuary, teeming with animals.
That sounds incredible. And the source mentioned something about driving yourself.
Yeah, it suggests a scenic self-drive tour is possible. Renting a car, maybe through a service like the one mentioned, FlightNHotels.
Gives you freedom, I guess.
Right.
Explore at your own pace.
Exactly. Tailor the experience.
Okay, from the crater, let's head to the coast. Zanzibar. The Spice Islands.
Ah, Zanzibar. Total change of pace, change of scenery.
White sand beaches, turquoise water, the classic image.
That's definitely a huge part of it. But it's more than just beaches. There's so much history, culture.
Right, Stone Town.
Exactly. Stone Town is fascinating.
Yeah.
A maze of narrow alleyways, old buildings. You can feel the history, trade, different cultures mixing.
So you get relaxation and history combined.
Pretty much. You've got the serene beaches like Nungri and Kendwar mentioned. And then you have the buzz and the history of Stone Town. And apparently lots of accommodation choices, too.
From fancy resorts to smaller places.
Yeah, beachfront resorts, luxury villas. Seems like a wide range.
Sounds idyllic. Okay, what other parks does the source highlight? Beyond the really big names.
Well, there's Tanzania National Park.
Okay.
It's known for having large elephant herds and those amazing baobab trees.
Ah, the baobabs. So distinctive.
Yeah. It can be a bit less crowded than Serengeti or Ngorongoro, but still offers a fantastic safari. Especially during the dry season. The animals tend to gather around the Tanzania River then.
Makes sense. Good to know about alternatives. What about Lake Manyara?
Lake Manyara is described as perfect for a shorter safari, maybe if you don't have as much time.
But still good wildlife?
Oh, yeah. Diverse wildlife, lots of bird species. It mentions thousands of flamingos sometimes.
Wow, flamingos.
And it's famous for something quite unusual, tree-climbing lions.
Lions climbing trees. Is that common?
Not really, no. It's a specific behavior seen more often there. Pretty rare phenomenon.
That's definitely something to look out for. Okay, then there's Ruaha National Park.
Ruaha. Now, that's Tanzania's largest national park.
Biggest one.
Yep. And it's painted as more raw and remote, an authentic kind of safari adventure.
So maybe for more serious wildlife enthusiasts, less crowded.
That's the impression, for people really wanting to get away from it all and deep into the bush.
Sounds intense. And then Selous Game Reserve, or it's called Nair National Park now.
That's right, Nair National Park. It's massive, a huge wilderness area.
And different kinds of safaris there.
Yes, that's a key point. Opportunities for boating safaris on the rivers.
Oh, cool.
Walking safaris with guides, getting a different perspective, and even fly camping.
Fly camping?
Yeah.
Like camping out in the open?
Pretty much. Sleeping under the stars. A really immersive experience. The rivers and ecosystems there make it a haven for birds and big game.
That sounds incredible. Really connecting with nature. Okay, one more key place before we talk planning. Dar es Salaam.
Right, Dar es Salaam. It's the commercial capital, a big city.
So more urban.
Yeah, vibrant, modern infrastructure, but also a mix of cultures.
And important for travelers.
Very. It's often the gateway to the southern safari circuit, the parks like Nair and Ruaha.
Okay.
And it's the main launching point for ferries or flights over to Zanzibar.
Makes sense. A transport hub.
Yeah.
And hotels and flights readily available there.
Yep, plenty of city hotels, easy to book local flights from there.
Okay, wow. So mountains, craters, plains, beaches, cities. It really does seem to cover, well, everything.
An incredible range.
So if you're planning a trip, when is the best time to actually go? Does it vary?
It does vary, depending on what you want to do most. Our source breaks it down nicely.
Okay.
For safaris, wildlife viewing the dry season is generally best. That's June to October.
June to October for safaris.
Got it. If you're dreaming of the Zanzibar beaches, then December to March is apparently prime time.
Okay, summer holidays there, sort of.
Right. And for Kilimanjaro, if you're tackling the mountain.
Yeah.
January to March is often recommended for the best climbing conditions.
Jan to March for Kili.
Okay. And it also mentions May and November as shoulder seasons.
Meaning?
Fewer crowds, maybe lower prices. Could be a good option if your dates are flexible.
Useful info. Okay, so timing is key. What about actually booking everything? Flights, hotels. The source, Discover Tanzania with FlightNHotels.com, obviously mentions that platform.
Right, yeah. It highlights using a platform like that for ease of planning.
How so?
Well, being able to compare flights from different airlines easily, browse lots of hotel options from budget to luxury, and even arrange car rentals, like for that Ngorongoro self-drive we talked about.
All in one place kind of thing?
That seems to be the idea. It mentions benefits like potential discounts, booking anytime 2047, secure payments.
Right. And key airports for flying in.
Two main ones highlighted. Kilimanjaro International, JRO. That's good for the northern circuit. Serengeti, Kili, and Ngorongoro.
Okay. JRO for the north.
And then Abid Amani Karumi International in Zanzibar, ZNZ, for the islands, obviously.
ZNZ for Zanzibar. Got it. So it sounds like the tools are there to make planning smoother.
Seems that way, streamlining the process.
And they even included a sample itinerary, just to give people an idea.
Yeah, just a suggestion. An 11-day trip for first-timers.
What does it cover? Briefly.
Let's see. Arrival in Arusha, then Serengeti and Ngorongoro, then over to Zanzibar for some beach time and culture, and then departure.
Classic combo.
Yeah, it covers the big highlights, but importantly, it stresses you can customize it. Book each part how you want it.
Flexible. Good. So, wrapping this up, Tanzania. It's clearly not just, one thing.
Definitely not. It's a whole tapestry of experiences, isn't it?
Yeah. From the sheer thrill of seeing the migration.
Or the personal challenge of Kili.
To just chilling on a Zanzibar beach. It's incredibly varied.
Absolutely. So the key takeaways, I think, are that incredible wildlife, obviously.
Unparalleled.
Stunning landscapes, from craters to coasts, that rich culture we touched on.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, the planning can be quite straightforward with the right resources.
Okay, so maybe one last thing for you, the listener, to think about. After hearing all this, which part of Tanzania calls to you most?
Yeah, is it the safari? That call of the wild in the Serengeti?
Or maybe the physical, mental challenge of Kilimanjaro, standing on top of Africa?
Or is it that peaceful escape? The history and beaches of Zanzibar.
And beyond those big landmarks, what else is there? What about the deeper culture, the history, the people's stories that we haven't even scratched the surface of today?
Right. It feels like there's always more to discover.
Definitely feels like this deep dive has just opened the door. So much more to explore in Tanzania.